I'm Dr. Joe Flaherty, and I know biology. Specifically, we study fungal biology here in my research lab at Coker College. What are fungi? Fungi are that green fuzzy mass that grows on a loaf of bread that your mom might have left open and it gets a little old and now you have to throw it away. Well, that nuisance really becomes a huge problem out in the field where farmers are growing our food supply, essentially. Fungi, also known as mold, grows on our agriculturally important crops. They not only devastate the crops they infect, but they can also potentially contaminate uninfected crops with toxins. And some of you may have heard of some of these important fungal toxins like aflatoxin that may have been in the dog food that was recalled a few years ago. And there was a aflatoxin scare in peanut butter about a decade ago. So a lot of these fungal toxins certainly impact our food supply, and that is on top of the impact of just the devastation to the crops individually when a fungus attacks them. Our laboratory specifically examines genes involved in fungal development. So why is that important? Well, for a fungus to continue to be a problem, it has to produce reproductive structures called spores. And you may have heard about fungal spores in some way. Usually people are allergic to them, or if you've moved into an old dusty attic, you may feel like there's mold growing on the walls. Those are caused by fungi. Fungal spores are the survival structures and allow these fungi to disperse across large distances. Our laboratory specifically looks for genes that control the development of these specialized structures, with the hope that once we identify the genetics behind the spore production, we may be able to identify strategies or implement strategies that shut down this process out in the field. So rather than killing the fungi, we just slow them down, prevent them from reproducing, prevent them from spreading from crop to crop or from field to field. And this, I think, will have a huge impact on the stresses on our global food supply. And as you know, our population is expanding at an ever-increasing rate, and the pressures on our global food supply are very intense. The students in my laboratory have screened over 5,000 mutants of a specific fungus that causes these dreaded diseases. Out of those 5,000 mutants that have been screened, a handful of them display characteristics that are related to development. In fact, a handful of them don't produce spores at all. In fact, we're now pursuing those mutants to identify what gene was rendered non-functional that led to that trait. And as you probably know, traits are controlled by genes in large part, and as an interplay with environmental influences as well. So far we have discovered one gene in the past year that controls fungal development, and we're very excited about this discovery because we feel like that we can identify additional genes and start putting together a picture that depicts how these fungi make the decision to develop and produce spores out in the field once they infect plants.